Now that we've settled into our Grand Design fifth wheel, have we discovered any quirks? Do we have any regrets? Let's find out.
We're Marissa, Nathan, Hensley, and JJ. We sold our house in 2015 and moved into an RV full-time to live a life of less junk, more journey. Life is a journey. Let go and get going. So this is the start of our 6th year of traveling full-time in an RV. And in those 6 years, we've had 6 different RVs. So I feel like we've gotten our feet wet with a lot of different kinds of RVs.
Really wet. So, yeah.
Not just different RVs, but even almost every type of RV. Mm-hmm. We've had a 28-foot travel trailer, 43-foot fifth wheel, and 40-foot motorhome, 30-foot Airstream, 40-foot fifth wheel. Now we're in a 40-foot fifth wheel Grand Design mid-bunk. So
it's a mouthful.
It is.
And this is kind of a unique perspective too, because a lot of you guys have followed us, have seen the open range fifth wheel, which is right around the same length, similar-ish height and features and some of those things too. So we'll also be comparing maybe specifically back to that open range, what we've seen the difference in between that fifth wheel and this fifth wheel. We will circle back around to the pros of a lot of this stuff, but Marissa's favorite part of the video here, the cons, some things, some quirks. And as we mention these things, like, some of them might seem nitpicky to you. Some of them might seem like a huge deal. Some of you might just think we're absolute divas after even talking about this stuff. But when you live in an RV, some of these things do matter. First on the docket, this is like a residential package. And so residential microwave, residential stove, residential fridge, which is good in some ways. But we do have some cons, maybe specifically about the stove.
I have realized, I don't know why we didn't realize this from the beginning, there are different sized burners. So the small ones are in the back, the big ones are in the front. I wish they were all the same size. But honestly, with little kids, I don't like having my boiling pots in the front. I like putting them in the back. But because they're in the back and they're so small, it takes forever to boil any kind of water on these small burners. So I have to keep them in the front to be able to boil water.
How often do you think you use 4 burners, or do you think 3?
I know cooking is a huge question we get, and honestly, cooking in an RV is very similar to cooking in a house. So I feel like if you're going to use 4 burners cooking at your house, you'll probably use 4 burners cooking in an RV. For me, I think, 3 is kind of the most if I'm boiling water, making sauce. But, I mean, I really have never used 4 at a time, but it's pretty much the same to how you cook in a house.
But to me, I would almost rather have, and that's maybe like 3 full-size burners instead of 2 full-size and then a medium size and then a small size. We talked about this before. Our other fridge was like a 26 and this is an 18, I think, right? I think the things that you've mentioned missing the most are probably like the ice maker and the water on the side here.
I loved having my ice maker and water in the door, so that's something that we had to give up.
Now these are a few of the cons that stand out to me as far as our Grand Design RV. First is the bay door on the front. Now we also had a bay door on the front of our open range fifth wheel. I probably can't even do it justice how big this bay is, but it's a good 4 feet tall. But then like your door is like 2-ish feet tall. Instead of like our open range, it was probably like 3 feet tall. So it's one of those things where it's a little bit easier to get stuff in this front bay if you have a bigger door, and you can get bigger stuff in the bay if you have a bigger door. Now something else with our Solitude that is not the case on most Solitudes, other than I think maybe the ones with rear livings like ours, maybe the 310 GK might be another one. But you'll see where it's like a straight line and then it kind of tapers off, maybe a little bit past the mid-bug down toward where the living room area is. Our open range didn't do that. It was just a straight line roof the whole way across. A lot of your Solitudes you see are just a straight line the whole way across. And I liked not just having the higher ceiling in the back because it doesn't taper off, but I also like just the look of the straight line roof a little bit better.
I love that this style in here is more of a farmhouse style. So I think it's really pretty that they've done some of the see-through detail. But I hate that it shows through. So like you can see, it's almost like your storage has to be completely beautiful, and in an RV we just have to be efficient. So sometimes I don't know, you go with efficiency versus looks.
Well, and this stuff can be, you know, it can be fixed. You can buy tents, you can, you know, you can do different things, but that's kind of the thing is...
When you live in a house and you're not rolling down the road, you can definitely display beautiful dishes in your cabinet. But when you're in an RV, things are a little different. I have traveled with glass. I know that might be a question is, does glass travel? And it does, but I just can't have it beautifully displayed. They've really lightened things up in here. If it was my preference, I would love to have lighter cabinets and darker floors. They went lighter floors, darker cabinets. It's beautiful, but with an RV, you have so much foot traffic and such a small amount of space. And so we do take our shoes off. We try to do all those things to keep down the dirt and the grime. But the light floors in here, as beautiful as they are, show everything. I like the contrast of the light and the dark. So if they could do light cabinets and darker floors to hide some of this, you know, constant sweeping, that would be great.
Now, as far as cons of things that maybe like happened out of the factory or things that need to be repaired at some point, we really haven't had a whole lot go wrong with the RV. We do have this slide topper on this slide, and I believe that is our biggest slide. But when it rains, the rain is just sort of accumulating in that slide topper and it's sagging. And pretty much every time after it rains, I've got to take a broom, I've got to prop it underneath that slide topper, let the water drain off to keep it from stretching that fabric anymore. I don't know if it's not angled enough. I don't know if the fabric's not tight enough. Just looking at it, it looks like the right angle. It looks like the fabric's tight enough. I don't know. Now, under the slide of our Grand Design, we actually also had this in our open range because we had our refrigerator on the slide with an ice maker. If you have that, you're pretty much gonna have a water hose on the slide. But I don't know if this is a different water hose or what the circumstance is. But yeah, this water hose, it is toast. And I've got to replace it or fix it or patch it or do something. Grand Design knew this could be a problem because they put in here, which I have now turned off, you've got this ice maker shutoff valve. So if you ever see that, that's what that's for, because it did get below 32 degrees in Tennessee and it did bust our pipe on the outside. I'm gonna guess it got about 25 degrees one night, maybe two. And we were in the open range last winter for a while in Tennessee, and I know I got down to 25 before and it never busted. It is. I don't know if it's a different hose. I don't know if it's just one of those things where it just happened to do that or what. Technically it is my fault because I could have came out here and done the cutoff, which I will now do. Let's go check out the bathroom. Not another bathroom, shower scene probably. So we getting a shower scene, babe?
So as we talked about in one of our previous videos, if you haven't seen that one, check that out. Why we love the shower so much. It's amazing. But if I could change one thing, I would love to have a seat or a bench in the shower. I personally really love having one of those, even if it was just kind of like a fold down. I think a fold down seat would be perfect in here. I think that's the only thing this perfect shower is missing. This originally had a sliding mirror door. I was not a fan of the mirror, but this was a quick, easy fix. We replaced this door ourselves, kept the existing hardware. It's lightweight. I think that it turned out really great.
This is what I'm still figuring out. It's kind of an anomaly. It's not something I expected at all. So in our open range fifth wheel, I was actually amazed at how little the fifth wheel moved. We had, you know, on like the front of the open ranges, you'll see a lot of times they have like these extra braces. I can't remember what those things are called. Strong arms, I think, JT strong arms maybe, which seems to be pretty standard on a lot of the open ranges. We used those for a while and then it just ended up being so stable that we just honestly stopped even tightening the JT strong arms because it barely if ever moved unless it was just, you know, so maybe like 1 in 10 sites we would even tighten the strong arms. Well, the Solitudes don't come with JT strong arms. And I thought, well, they're hydraulic jacks, it's gonna be super heavy duty. It's a super heavy duty rig. I expected it to at least hold up to what the open range did as far as like movement inside the RV, but that hasn't been the case. And I've got a few theories. One theory, and I don't have the open range in front of me to check this theory, is that this RV actually sits higher off the ground than the open range. So we actually bought 4 more of these so that the jacks won't have to extend quite as far, and see if that helps as far as stability. And we haven't really noticed much as far as that helping. Another theory is that in the open range, most of our movement and weight, you know, the washer dryer was on the axles, the living room kitchen was pretty much on the axles. We weren't really in the back bunker that much. If anybody was, it was usually the kids, which meant the RV just didn't move that much. Versus in this RV, you know, we've got this massive slide coming off almost the whole slide is past these axles. So you've got all this weight past the axles. You know, your living room kitchen, the main area where everybody hangs out and moves around, that's past the axles on the back side. Because you've got a lot of length past the axles back here, and all that's just sort of bouncing around. Another theory is that this is just a heavier RV. I mean, if you've got a heavier anything on, because I don't know if these jacks are really that much thicker than our electric jacks. It's just more top heavy than our open range because it's 2,000 pounds heavier. And that in and of itself makes it maybe sway a little bit more. And it's 7 inches taller than our open range. So now in the master bedroom, this is really gonna get to that, like, what do you prefer kind of thing. What some of you may love about a master bedroom or what you're looking for in a master bedroom may not be for us. But for us, if we've got 35, 40 feet to work with, we want as little of that room to be used in the master bedroom as possible because we're pretty much just sleeping and doing other stuff sometimes, you know. So like
Watching TV.
Watching TV, yes. Yeah, that's it. Doing laundry. Yeah, anyways.
It's our laundry room / bedroom
/ office
/ movie theater.
So for me, I do want enough room where I could stand up and work. Sort of like in the Airstream though, I could do a flip down desk against that wall if I need to. It is luxurious. It is, this is definitely the biggest master bedroom we've had. I mean, look at this floor space.
That is unreal.
Well, I got out a tape measure before this video and I tape measured from the tip of the, because our open range had that design, if you remember, it was a king bed that went north to south. When somebody says this is north to south, this is east to west. And so when I measured from the tip of the closet in the back all the way in where the bed would be, it actually only came to about right here. So we could save 3 to 4 feet over the overall length of the RV by having a north to south bed. And then instead of having the closet here, you know, you put the closet in the slide. Now, yeah, we've still got the complication of where does the washer dryer go? Can that go on the slide? Does it need to go on the axles in the living room area, which we actually liked in the open range as well. But to me, when I walk into an RV and I see a massive master bedroom, I'm thinking, oh man, like could that 2, 3, 4 feet have made, we have a 37, 36 foot fifth wheel instead of a 40 foot fifth wheel, which make it easier to get into state parks, national parks. If you don't care about state and national parks, who cares? Like just have the luxurious master bedroom. And do I like a peninsula as much as an island in the kitchen area? No, but again, if you did a peninsula with this connecting, we could probably shave off maybe 1 more foot, and then you go back to maybe the smaller resident. Anyways, you try to gain that foot back over somewhere over here without the gap. That's us. That's our thinking, and that's why we went with this layouts, because we want as much space as possible in the living room kitchen area, and we're totally cool with taking that away from the master bedroom. Do you want to talk about your theory with maybe even giving the kids like a front bunk area, and then we would be in the mid bunk area?
I will say the mid bunk is working out great for our size children, but I can see if you had teenagers or kids grow, right, had larger children, I could see how the mid bunk might be small for them. So I told Nathan, this could totally be a massive bunk room up here in the master. And then for us, space isn't as big of a deal for us. We just want a bed to sleep in.
And do other things.
And watch TV. So we could take the mid bunk and make it a master suite bed in there, and then the kids could have the larger area to play in and share a room.
It'd be like the LJMJ mid-master model.
Mid-master.
And plus, another perk too is like your bedroom, our bedroom or whatever, is closer to the living room kitchen where most of the noise takes place. If the kids are playing or if the kids are asleep before us, they're back here. Whether you keep the loft or not with that layout, I don't know. We haven't gotten that far yet. But that's just a thought on that. So those are a lot of the quirks or things we would change if we could just like build something from scratch, or maybe some tiny things that we have as far as preferences as RVers. But now as far as the pros, there are a lot of pros and things we really love about this RV. It does have, I guess we call it the televator?
The televator, yes. We didn't know how we would like it. We knew we wanted the extra window, but is it annoying to go up and down with the TV? Totally worth it. I love having the TV out of sight, out of mind. Our kids aren't pointing at it, asking for it. If you're not using it, then why is it the focal point of your living room area?
Well, there's a lot going on here. We're getting a window, we've got the TV that comes out, and we have a fireplace all in this space. So very,
this is a very functional space.
And we've also talked about one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing we love about this RV, the windows. But one thing we haven't told you, like, this was a real debate, especially if you're looking at like 2018, 2019, 2020. You're starting to see more manufacturers doing this because they're like, oh wait, maybe people don't want to look and just be looking into a cabinet. They want to actually at eye level be able to look out and see what's outside. But it came down to, we were looking at some open ranges that kind of did this. They just kind of went halfway in.
Yeah.
They did windows half the distance, and then half of it had cabinets at the top. Versus Grand Design was like, no, we're just gonna go all in. There was like around a $10,000 difference between the two, and I asked Marissa, like, this is kind of a $10,000 decision. Is it worth? I mean, there's more. I know there's more than that between brands, but that was one of the main things we're looking at. Is it worth the $10,000 to have those windows?
The windows were the deciding factor for us to get this RV, and honestly, they have not disappointed. If anything, it's exceeded our expectation. I don't even think we realized how much we needed these windows. This sunlight has been incredible. We can watch our kids play. It's literally made my heart happy having these amazing windows. I feel like I'm outside all day long. I mean, it does. You just feel like you're in nature or you are outside, and I love that feeling. So earlier I mentioned the light floors, but sweeping is not a problem when you have a central vac.
Do we have a name for that? Suckinator or something? Because that's not, usually people think it's central vac. Here's the central vac hose over here. You would normally attach the hose to that.
So you just sweep up, and then you don't even have to put it in a dustpan. You just flip it up with your foot, sweep it in there, and then it goes in a bag underneath the RV. It has been awesome. I love it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and point this out because everybody's going to see it, but this is definitely her as far as minimalism.
Yeah, I put this up for Nathan right here. I'm minimal-ish. Just kind of like we're fit-ish, we're minimal-ish. But yeah, I'm not getting rid of that, Nathan. So
we like in our open range. It also had one of these switches for the fantastic fan in the ceiling. But I like this one. It's just a one-touch fan on. It's not verbal. I just said that. It's not like that. And it just opens it, turns it on, does everything. And then when you want it off, fan off.
And it comes with the perfect Instant Pot storage spot. It fits perfectly up there. I love that. Something new for the 2021 model is they added this small divider and this large sink. I love this sink. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But having this little divider here to separate the clean and the dirty has been a game changer, because we love to wash on one side, dry on the other, keep our clean separate from our dirty.
Well, I'm guessing it's here in case you had a pot or pan or something that was taller.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be sticking out of the top of the sink, awkwardly. You can kind of hang it over the edge just a little bit. But it's good. Yeah, we like it. Why are we crouching down for the next thing we love? Because it gives you the perfect angle to see this. Look at that. No carpet. We're pretty sure this is the first year that Grand Design started not having carpet on the slides, and we love it. Not just that there's no carpet on the slides, but the entire slide design of it flapping over. To us, like, we do not want carpet, like, especially with kids. Right. It's a nightmare.
We love that they've went to all the vinyl flooring, even in the master bedroom. Some of you may prefer to have carpet, but I love getting the carpet out of here. So there is no carpet in this RV. And you can just lay down a rug if you'd rather have a rug, and it's just been so much better, because carpets in RVs just get a lot of traffic, a lot of dirt, a lot of everything in them.
Now the pros, as far as our fifth wheel on the outside, you've heard us rave about the full body paint, and that still holds true. We absolutely love the full body paint, and I love the Lipper One Control app. You can control all kinds of stuff on the RV. You just use the app, which is what I'm doing right now for this awning behind me. It's pretty cool, and I love it. We can control our slides, we can control the awnings, we control all the lights, I can control the jacks, I can see those things from the inside, I can see them from the outside. It gives me the ability, especially as a family where Marissa has the kids and I'm by myself, it gives me the ability to walk around, double check things, and just do more on my own in a safer and more effective way to make sure the awning's not going to be hitting a tree or the slide's not going to be hitting a post. It's come in very handy.
We've always loved the mid bunks. I think they're a great layout. And when I was looking at mid bunks, I actually originally hated that you could see right into your kids' playroom as soon as you walked in the door. I told Nathan I did not want the layout where you could see straight into your kids' room when you walked in. I wanted the layout where the bunk room door was here. Then I quickly realized if the bunk room door is here, then that takes away all of this cabinet space, all of this counter space, and all of this under cabinet space. I quickly realized, okay, we're going to put the door over here. So I love that Grand Design has done this and has the layout where you get all the extra counter space and the door goes when you first walk in. Some of the interior design things they've done on this model that I am in love with is they've really brightened it up. These countertops are white. I think that it's beautiful. They have squared the edges off, which makes it more home-like. We worried about the little kiddos, so we just added some bumpers to it. Quick fix. JJ approved. It saved his head, and I love the style of it. It makes it feel like a home in here. They've added these pendant lights, which I think really make it look like a home. They've put the pendant lights on the back of the RV as well. I'm huge into lighting. As you can tell, we talk about windows a lot, but also lights themselves. And so I love these little tiny light features that they've added throughout the RV. I'm also really digging this residential stove. We talked about the burner size earlier, but the size inside this oven is crazy awesome. You could be doing multiple levels. You could do meat and vegetable at the same time. There's so much space. So not only does it have a ton of space, again, I think just these residential items that they've added makes it feel like a home, and it just looks really pretty.
I absolutely love the outdoor kitchen. On the 2021, you're starting to see RV manufacturers go away from having the outdoor kitchen in the back of the RV, and then because you got to walk all the way around the steps, you got to sometimes walk through the rain. This is great. I mean, I am right next to the steps. I'm under the awning if it's out. It's super fast. It's super convenient. Kitchen comes with this like drink chiller that we have not quite figured out what we're doing with. We do keep drinks in here, and then just a bunch of other random stuff just to make sure no rodents ever touch it. And then it comes with a Suburban, which this is a great call. You're starting to see more of this too, but a Suburban griddle that slides out. This flips over, and then boom, you got a griddle. Now, Marissa loves some things in the master bedroom, but there's a lot of things that I really love about it as well. Because for all the whining I do about the size of the master bedroom, it actually is really nice to have room and space. You know, to be able to stand up and work, to have a window out in front of me, to have my laptop here, to have all the camera gear here if I need it, to have all the network stuff up here, which I'm still sort of working out. But it's just a crazy nice, efficient, great layout in the master bedroom.
One of the things I love that Grand Design does is they add these extra windows when they don't even have to put them, and a lot of companies don't add the extra touches, the extra windows. I love the extra sunlight. I worried about it because I love having the room super dark when I sleep, but it stays really dark in here. Once the shades are pulled, it is like a cave in here, and I sleep like a baby. Overall, we have loved this RV. It has just been amazing for our family. It's blown us away.
Well, every RV we've had, you have that settle in time. You have things you like, you don't like, or even if you bought a house before or a car, I think or dated a person or whatever. But, you know, at a distance, they look perfect. There's nothing wrong, which continued to be the case for Marissa. But in most cases, if you bought the car, you bought the house, you bought the RV, like as you start to get closer, you start to see some nicks, you start to see some scratches, you start to see some flaws. And this RV is no different. There's some things that are, you know, not perfect, but I don't think there is a perfect RV. But I think this has been as close to perfect of an RV for where we're at this stage.
This season of life.
For this season of life. We are super thrilled with what we have.
It's been great.
Well, that's everything that's wrong with our Grand Design RV. And more importantly, the things that are right and that we love. Until next time, let go, get going. Welcome to our home. I'm Nathan.
I'm Marissa.
What's your name? There you go. So this is our 31-foot Airstream Classic from 2008 that we live in full time.